It doesn't matter what year you are. I'm head of the associates. If I give you an assignment, you do it.
Hey, everybody. This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good looking friends. Today's video is on the lighter side. In Touch Weekly, US Tabloid magazine, published this as their cover story for this week's issue. Now, I know we have to take these magazines and these articles with a grain of salt because a lot of it is garbage, and we know that for the most part in the past, Meghan and Harry, Sussex PR team, have fed a lot of these stories to these kinds of outlets. But what's different this time is the shift in making Meghan look bad, essentially. We know that this would have never have happened like 2 years ago because of the control she had. So I feel really encouraged and optimistic that the tide has turned, and these types of magazines now understand and are seeing that these two are nothing but jokes. And the hilarious part about this is that this magazine is making it appear, or trying to make it appear, that they have these inside royal sources that are feeding them information. Let me read to you some of this tripe. Honestly, I would like to think that William and Catherine would feed stories to a magazine like this just to have a bit of a dig at Meghan and Harry, because what they say in here is pretty embarrassing. So listen to what they have to say. It's official! Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will be forced to watch King Charles III's big day from the sidelines. The lineup is all set. After their official coronation ceremony at Westminster Abbey on May 6, King Charles and Queen Camilla will ride in the Gold State coach during a procession through the streets of London back to Buckingham Palace. And according to the recently leaked documents, Prince William, Kate Middleton, and here we go, Kate Middleton, call her Catherine, enough already, and their children, Prince George, Prince Louis, and Princess Charlotte, will be in the carriage behind them, followed by Princess Anne and her husband, Tim, Prince Edward and his wife, Sophie, and 4 of the late Queen Elizabeth's cousins. This event has been meticulously planned by Charles, getting the final say, of course. A royal source tells In Touch. Yeah, okay, wink wink. Working royals only are front and center, which means Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, have been relegated to common spectators. Ooh, that burns. As non-working royals. Charles is putting them in the same box as Prince Andrew. They won't be part of the procession, nor will they stand on the balcony with the rest of the family when they reach the palace, says the source. So, this alleged source reveals that Charles alone wasn't responsible for this decision. William and Catherine convinced him that Harry and Meghan are troublemakers and should be cut out. And Charles listened. This is so humiliating for Harry and Meghan, you think? Initially, their invitation was seen as an olive branch. Amid all the drama stirred up by his bombshell memoir, Spare, Harry publicly urged his family to come clean about how they treated his wife. He's been expecting an apology from Charles, says the source. But William, who feels his brother is acting like an immature brat, has convinced Charles to hold Harry accountable. Charles was willing to admit he's far from perfect, but the idea of issuing an apology just to make peace has been thrown out the window now. The situation is tense and awkward for all. Now, this next part I find absolutely ridiculous and borderline delusional. It says, to avoid a total disaster, the king has scheduled a crisis summit with his sons, provided Harry doesn't bow out of coming to the coronation. Charles wants them to hash out their differences before the celebrations begin, says the source. But with William still raging, aides are warning Charles it may not be the best approach. Well, duh, no, you're not going to be able to hash this out in like an hour meeting. The last thing they need to deal with is a full blown showdown right before the coronation, says the source. They think Charles should keep the brothers as far apart as possible. Anything else is a recipe for disaster. Yeah, and I agree with that. There were rumors Charles secretly met with Prince Harry when he recently came to London to testify before the High Court in a phone hacking case involving the royal family. But the palace didn't confirm such a meeting ever took place, and I will put money on it that it never happened. Fab Four no more. When the coronation finally rolls around, all eyes will be on William and Catherine. Harry and Meghan. No, William and Catherine, because I bet you that all the news outlets, just out of spite, will do the same thing they did to Meghan during the funeral by putting some type of object in front of her face. Let's hope that we see another candle cameo come up. But it's possible that both couples will never be seen in the same frame together, says the source. No, I would have to agree with that. Harry and Meghan will have nosebleed seats. Also, Harry hasn't totally committed to going. He said he's going, but it was a half-hearted response. In spite of his decision, Charles is still hoping Harry will come, says the source. He doesn't want to ostracize his flesh and blood completely. But there's another element to this. Charles knows that Harry has had to cut pages from Spare, so there could be a second, even more scathing book if Charles really enrages Harry. It's a dance. I gotta be honest. King Charles, I highly doubt, is losing sleep over whether or not Harry and Meghan are gonna show up to the coronation. Like, he's got 1,000 other things on his mind. The last thing he needs is to be dealing with this BS drama. And also, they continue to keep using this threat of a second book being published because there were so many more pages that Harry could have included into this book. See, what I don't get is why is nobody talking about the royal family being able to sue Meghan and Harry into oblivion? I mean, they technically could do it if they wanted to. So why is there any fear around if Harry is threatening to publish a second book? From what I understand is that those pages were originally included in the first book and that he was told to pull it out because it caused legal concern. So what other material does he have really to add if it's not those pages? So according to this article, they think that Meghan has remained surprisingly quiet and out of the public eye lately. Where are they existing? I just want to know. I want to know how I could get that type of serenity and peace because every day there's something that Meghan and Harry have done to put themselves in the media. So it's not necessarily that we don't have to physically see them. God, we don't want to see them. But every day there's something coming out from their team, whether it be buying another award here, buying another award there. Everyone is just exhausted. Exhausted of hearing these two whine, exhausted about their demands. Like, they're nobody. And I'd like to believe that this last paragraph is true, as it says that after they said that Meghan was quiet lately, but it must burn that Kate got her way, says the source. William and Catherine have finally gotten their revenge on Harry and Meghan. Although anything can happen when it comes to Harry and Meghan, they're unpredictable. Well, I think it's more like karma. I don't think Catherine and William had been scheming like how Meghan and Harry schemed to get their revenge. I think it just happened naturally. Things fell into place favoring Catherine and William because they didn't do anything wrong. And it definitely must burn Meghan because look who's winning. These two are on top of the world right now. You can't beat this. Now, if you think about it, do we really honestly think Meghan is going to go to the coronation if she does not have a prominent role or a prominent spot in this whole coronation ceremony? Most likely not. She's not going to want to stand there and watch William and Catherine look all fabulous and the spotlight on them and her sitting in the back. No, she's not going to tolerate that. So highly doubtful if these two are going to go, because if they don't have a role or if they can't be on the balcony, Megan's going to be like, well, what's the point of us going? Well, actually, if there's no point for Megan to be there in the sense of being featured or spotlighted, whether it be on the balcony for her Netflix and her other deals, she's not going to go, because I don't believe, and this is just my personal opinion, that Meghan and Harry have not been together. I have said this. I don't believe that they have been together since November or December of 2021. And I think this has all been a big facade to keep these deals going in order to fulfill whatever contracts that they have in place. I truly don't think that she's going to want to suck it up and swallow her pride while watching Catherine, be cemented in history, looking all gorgeous and fabulous, while Meghan and Harry are going to be relegated to the nosebleed seats, as they so-called say it with Andrew. That's not going to fly for her. That doesn't look good for her brand. Now, the rumor that's running around of Harry demanding that the king give Meghan an apology, I actually believe that, because way back when he released Spare, that was one of the things that he was adamant about, was if he was going to attend the coronation, his family would have had to apologize first. But now this apology has to go to Meghan. And what I have been seeing is whispers around, and I was on Quora the other day, and there is a particular user who does have insight and has been able to share some things that I've seen in the past that sort of exposes these two. I don't know what the affiliation or where this person gets their information from, but they appear to have been a reliable source in the past. I mean, they have been on this for the last few years. And you might have seen this person's name floating around. So Benjamin Smallbrook posted this last week, and I just found it hysterical. So according to the rumor going around is that Meghan and Harry are demanding this private apology from King Charles, but also the Prince and Princess of Wales, as one of their conditions of accepting an invitation to the coronation. So Benjamin Smallbrook responds to this question, and he says, "It isn't just an apology they are seeking. They are asking that 7 members of the royal family be enrolled on an equality, diversity, and inclusion course. They are also asking for a balcony appearance and unrestricted access to be given to their media representatives. Another demand is that they be given equal television coverage with William and Catherine on the day. If these demands are not met, they will refuse to attend the coronation." Now, I do believe that this could be true, because Meghan and Harry are that annoying and that ridiculous that these requests don't sound too far off from their insanity. What I find funny is that they're asking 7 members of the royal family be enrolled on an equality, diversity, and inclusion course taught by who? Fagazi Nagazi or Shouty Shola? Or how about Meghan? We know that the balcony appearance is not happening, so we can hope that that means that they're not going to go, but something tells me that that's just wishful thinking. Folks, we have less than a month to go. So let's hope there's not too many twists and turns, but somehow I feel like every day we're going to be tortured in some way. We'll just have to play it by ear and just roll with it. But on the final note, I want to talk about this invitation for a second. Many of you have asked me about my opinion of it. And to be honest, I really don't have an opinion. I looked at it and I didn't really, I want to say, fall in love with it immediately. I guess in my mind, I was thinking of this invitation to be like velvet and like red, like the color of the Queen's box that she had with King Charles's emblem on it and shiny gold. I mean, when they were planning his coronation, it was called, I think, the Golden Orb. And somehow I just had this mystical vision of just opulence. And this was a surprise to me. And that's just my opinion. Now, keep in mind, United States, the trend for invitation for like weddings or like sweet 16s are like some really intricate looking invitation where it's like in an envelope of an envelope and then put in a box, and there's a bird that carries. I mean, it's like some ridiculous stuff. So when you see this, to me, I felt a little underwhelmed. But after I looked into the meaning behind the symbols and the flowers and what it represented, then it added some depth to it. Now, many of you have asked me about this green man at the bottom of this invitation. For me, I didn't really think too deep into it. Yes, I understand after reading that it is a symbol. Some are saying that it is towards paganism. To me, I'm not thinking too deeply into it. I think that this was part of the artist's vision for Charles because he is about the environment. And I think that all the symbols that he had placed around there really had meaning, and it did flow with the art. One thing, though, that I can say was that when I did see this green man, immediately I thought of the Green Giant. Now, do you guys know the story about the Green Giant and how the Green Giant came about? Here's a fun fact. So in 1925, this brand of the Green Giant was created in response to the discovery of a new variety of pea. And this pea was oblong, wrinkled, and as peas go, huge. And they named them the Prince of Wales. No joke. This is real. So I just found it funny that they had the Green Man on this invitation. I highly doubt that there's any connection, but that was just a little fun fact for you. The other thing that I found fascinating was reading about the coat of arms, which is really the family lineage, it's the heritage, rich in tradition, and a lot of symbols, meaningful symbols. It's my understanding that the tradition for the women is that the parental side are the ones to design the actual shield or crest. So for Camilla, it was her father that gave her those symbols, and then for Catherine, the same thing. And in the shield itself represents the family and, various little subtle nods to family, as you can see here with Catherine's coat of arms. It really has a lot of reference to the people who make up who she is, and that is her brother and sister, her mother and father, all represented in symbolism on this shield. So when you look at William and Catherine's coat of arms, you can see that there is definite unity as well as embracing going towards each other. So you have the two symbols or the two animals that are embracing the shields, and you can see the same thing for Camilla's. They're both directing inward in unity. You know what? I never looked at Meghan and Harry's coat of arms. Looking at it now, it speaks for itself. One, this design that Meghan came up with for her coat of arms was done by her. It wasn't even done by her dad. And if you look at what it's supposed to represent, it doesn't represent anything surrounding her Markle side or even the Raglan side. So that should tell you enough. Those three quills supposed to represent some bullshit around activism, feminism. I don't even know what the third one is, but they're supposed to be quills. So power of the pen. And then she has this chicken that's there that's pushing away from the shield and looks like it's being strangled. Was this the sign all along saying that, she had no intention of embracing this monarchy or commitment to this union? It appears so. You got to wonder, what story did she tell the royal family? Because I'm sure the queen must have looked at this and said, this doesn't tell me anything about her heritage. This is stupid. If she is claiming to be so proud to be, biracial, where is any of that reflected in this shield? I'm just throwing that out there. To me, this gives me the impression that she's just embarrassed as to where she comes from. Anyhow, I'm not sure why the family didn't say, no, Meghan, this can't be just about you. This is about your family. This is what the tradition is. This is garbage. And why does she have a chicken choking in this graphic? This looks so stupid. But hey, Megan's got to be different, but different in the wrong way. I think a more appropriate animal would have been a snake, slithering in the garden up against even the crown itself. Forget the animal, the chicken. Add this to the list of why this union was never a good idea. So let me finish on a positive note. The best coat of arms, in my opinion, is Sophie's. She's got a dragon. Check that out. Like, how badass is that? You don't want to mess with Sophie. She's like the secret weapon of the monarchy. But anyhow, what do you guys think? Definitely leave your comments below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
It was such a fraud.